Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about creating virtual environments in Python. This is a very important concept because normally we don't want to install all the packages globally within our machine and then corrupt it at a global level. So whenever we work for a project, we definitely create virtual environments, which is a kind of a limited, or I would say a very scoped environment, which does not interfere with the global Python installation and settings. So we could install our packages, work with our project, and do the dependencies and everything. The creation of the virtual environments in Python is almost similar within Mac and Windows operating system. There's a little bit of a difference between the activation of the same. So friends, let's see how we can create a virtual environment in Python and activate the same in macOS. I'll also let you know the commands of activating the same in Windows. That's a little bit of a different, but virtually creation of the Python virtual environment is same. So let me open up a terminal window, which is a new terminal window, and I'll just move on to a folder called as temp. And within the folder temp, let's say I'll create a folder called as make directory. I'll say, let's say test. Now test is a folder in which I go. So let's say this folder is empty, and within the test folder, what we need to do is I need to create a virtual environment. Now creating the virtual environment within Python, this command technically remains same on Mac OS as well as the Windows OS. So for creating that, I'm just going to use Python -m. That's an attribute I use, and I specify virtual environment, and then technically I can specify anything. Let's say a name of the virtual environment. So the virtual environment, I can name it as my name or ABC or whatnot. So let's say I'll just try to name it as env. Now when you press enter, what is gonna happen is it is gonna create a new what you call folder within this test folder where we are right now, and that's the virtual environment, like a controlled environment where you could install your packages, dependencies, or whatnot. So once I do that, it actually does create that, and once I see it ls, so there is a virtual env folder out here. The environment has been created, but still we have not activated that environment. And one of the things which you can see here is that you would see my prompt being defined as my name and then my MacBook Pro name and then the test folder. But when I'll try to activate is, then this particular prompt would also change. So now for activating, I just use a command source and I'll say env/bin/activate. So that's how I'll try to activate my Python virtual environment. Now once I return this, so if you see, it automatically precedes my prompt now has a prefix of brackets and then the name of the environment which was given by us while creating it. It means now we are into the virtual environment where we can do that multiple things like work on a project, install dependencies. And just in order to make sure that we are in this virtual environment, if I pip3 list, which is a Python package installer, and I want to list it, so there is only one package, which is pip. Now, if you are not in a virtual environment, you are outside the Python environment, like a virtual environment in a global environment, you would probably see much more other packages list and version. So let me show that. So in order to see which other packages are installed globally, firstly, what we need to do is we need to get out of our environment, which is a virtual environment. And for doing that, you could just type the command deactivate, and it would actually make you out of the virtual environment. Now, if I try to run the command which I use, that is pip3 list. So now this shows me a long list, which is actually all the Python packages that are available globally. So this is a system-wide installation of the packages, and when we did a Python virtual environment, we just got one package because that was the PIP package listed out there. So rather than messing up with the whole system, it's always better to create virtual environments and then work within your projects by creating those virtual environments. So that's how you create a virtual environment, you activate a virtual environment, you could see those packages within the virtual environment and even with the global environment. Now, as I mentioned, creation of the virtual environments within Python is almost same. It's not different within Mac or Windows, but the activation of the scripts would be a little bit changed. So now, if I when I try to activate in Mac OS, this is the command which I gave, that is activate. So that's the command which is available for activating the Python virtual environment in Mac OS. But if you want to activate it in Windows, so then you don't have to use source. So you would get that virtual environment, because I'm assuming it's the same virtual environment name env, and then we do scripts and then we'll do activate. That's all. Technically it's a batch file that would get executed, so you could use that, activate, and it is gonna activate your Python virtual environment. And of course, whether you are in Windows or Mac, you would still get that prefix or brackets and the env out here, right? So I hope guys, now you know why exactly a Python virtual environment is required. We don't want to kind of mess up at the global level or the system level with all the Python packages which are installed. We just want to make sure a safer and a controlled environment within which we do our programming, we do develop our projects, and all the packages which are required, they are just installed within the scope of that project. So I'll be back with more videos guys, so please stay tuned and do subscribe to my channel. Have a good one.